I'm going to be sharing why the Bitcoin price can lift higher to $25,000. Also in today's show, Dogecoin price jumps 40% on Elon Musk's Twitter crypto wallet rumors. That's right. And Plan B shares more bottom signals. Greater than 60% of all the Bitcoin is in profit. Now check this out. Quoting President Obama's Deputy Chief of Staff, Jim Messina, I am incredibly bullish on this. I am buying Bitcoin right now. I'll bet you my Porsche Bitcoin gets back to $60,000. Send it. Also in today's show, Vitalik Buterin reveals 4 key goals for Ethereum in 2023, including his number one priority, which is solving scalability. Also in today's show, Ethereum Compatible Sidechain could be very bullish for XRP, according to Coin Bureau, and explains why. We'll also be discussing global Bitcoin payments market to meteorically rise to nearly $4 trillion within the next decade. That's right, a report published by the Allied Market Research forecasts the value of the Bitcoin payment market to balloon to almost $4 trillion by 2031. Also in today's show, macro guru Raoul Pal says crypto and Web3 is about to explode 300x in market value and shares his timeline, quoting the macro guru here. So there is this massive value accretion that comes if I compare where we are now, call it $1 trillion of asset valuation in digital assets. Well, almost all of the traditional asset markets are $200 trillion to $300 trillion each. We are going to get there probably in 10 to 15 years. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this plus so much more in today's show. I want to welcome everyone just tuning into today's episode of Crypto News Alerts. This is podcast episode number 1087 of the Crypto News Alerts pod, and today is October 27th, 2022. I'm your host, JV, and naturally, we have a lot to cover. You can see the Bitcoin price action live right here on your screen, trading just above 20,500 at the time of this live stream. With that being shared, let's dive right into today's market watch, shall we? You can see Bitcoin currently correcting down 1% for the day, but still trading above 20,600. We have Ether down 1%, trading down 1%, trading above $1,550, while Binance Coin, Solana, Polkadot, and Cardano are all correcting and in the red, while Dogecoin is up another 15% for the day, trading just under 8 cents. And we also have XRP barely in the green, up about 0.5%, trading just under 47 cents. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, let's do a refresh for the latest stats. You can see the market cap currently sitting just under that $1 trillion milestone at 996 billion, with about 92 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. So the dominance overall is sitting for Bitcoin at 39.6%, barely down for the day, with the Ether dominance back on the rise at 19%. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Clayton leading the pack, up about 28%, trading just above 25 cents, followed by Dogecoin up 30% for the week and 15% for the day, trading just under 8 cents, followed by Ethereum proof of work, which is up almost 5%, trading at $7.20. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers for the past week, you can see a sea of green for the altcoin market, which is a great sign for the alts, which we can see pretty impressive gains on the week, with Clayton up almost 85%, Ton up 37%, we got Hex up 32.5%, and Apt up 26.2%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators, it's Crypto Greed and Fear Index, shows we are currently rated a 32 in fear, the same as yesterday in fear, but at a 33, but at least we're not in extreme fear, as we have been stuck in extreme fear for the bulk of this year. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That can be a great buying opportunity, aka BTFD. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. With that being shared, I want to welcome everyone just tuning in to today's episode of Crypto News Alerts. As you can see, there is a lot of exciting action in the Bitcoin market. We were stuck at around that 19.2 to 19.3 range for about 6 weeks, and we finally broke out to reach a new 6-week high of around that 21,000 mark, and we're currently trading at around 20,500. And with that being shared, now let's dive right into our Bitcoin technical analysis, shall we? Bitcoin started a fresh increase above 19,650 and 20,000 resistance levels. The Bitcoin bulls were able to push the price into a positive zone above the 20,200 level. Now, yesterday we saw a bullish continuation pattern with resistance at 20,300. The price did move higher and cleared the 23 resistance. It even cleared the 25 resistance and settled well above the 100 hourly simple moving average. Now, a high was formed near 21,000 and the price is now consolidating those gains. There was a minor decline below 20,800 level. Bitcoin price dipped below the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement level of the upward move from the 19.9 swing low to $21,000 high, and is currently trading at around 20,500 and the 100 hourly simple moving average. There is also a major contract and triangle forming with resistance near 20,800 on the hourly chart of the Bitcoin/USD pair, which you can see here in this chart. And on the upside, an immediate resistance near the 20,800 zone. The first major resistance sits near that $21,000 level. The next major resistance might be 21,200, and a clear move above 21.2 resistance might send the price towards 22 resistance, and any more gains open the doors for a steady increase towards the $25,000 resistance zone. Send it. How many of you are currently bullish on the King crypto? Let me know in the comments below. Now, if Bitcoin fails to rise above 21.2, that resistance zone, it can start a downside correction, and immediate support on the downside is near 20,700, and the next major support is near the 20,500 zone. It is near the 50% Fibonacci retracement level of the upward move from the 19,900 swing low to $21,000 high. A downside break and close below 20,500, which is where we're currently at, might clear the path for a test of the $20,000 zone. Now, for the technical indicators to keep your eyes out on is the hourly MACD. The MACD is now gaining pace in the bullish zone. The hourly relative strength index, better known as the RSI for Bitcoin, is now well above the 50 level. So the major support levels for the King crypto is 20,700 followed by 20,500, and the major resistance levels are 20,820, 21,200, and $22,000. So there you have it for the latest price action for the King crypto. I'd love to know. Let me know in the live chat how many of you are currently bullish right now this minute. How many of you are accumulating the King crypto and think it is a great buy area to be accumulating for the long haul? Holla at your boy. And with that being shared, now let's dive into our next story of the day and discuss Dogecoin, as there are rumors circulating on crypto Twitter, and I covered this in great detail in yesterday's episode, that the closing of the Twitter acquisition by Elon Musk for the purchase of $44 billion is going to close officially tomorrow. And there are also rumors of a crypto wallet being deployed and developed via Twitter, and that started pumping Dogecoin outrageously. So let's break this down, shall we? Here we go. Dogecoin's price rallied to its best levels in 2 months as traders assessed Twitter's potential to create a cryptocurrency wallet product. Doge's price jumped from 8 cents on October 27th, and the price gained roughly 40% 2 days after the Jane Wang, a popular tech blogger, claiming that Twitter is working on a wallet prototype that supports crypto deposits and withdrawals. Now, Elon is the thread that connects Dogecoin and Twitter. Obviously, earlier this year, the Tesla and SpaceX CEO won the bid to purchase Twitter for $44 billion. And later on April 11th, he flirted with the idea of adding Dogecoin as a payment method for the Twitter Blue subscription service, which wouldn't surprise me, forcing every Twitter user to purchase Dogecoin in order to verify their account, which would obviously send Doge parabolic. Now, Doge's price grew 30% to 17 cents. 10 days after Musk's pro-crypto suggestion on the Twitter board, but the meme token fell drastically afterward, reaching a low of 5 cents in June as Musk attempted to back away from the deal, citing his concerns over Twitter's user figures, referring to the Twitter bots, which are notorious on crypto Twitter. Now, Twitter sued Musk in response, eventually prompting the court to rule in its favor. We had the Chancellor McCormick, the judge overseeing the legal battle, denied attempts by Musk to postpone the trial, noting that the deal should close by 5 p.m. on October 28th, which is tomorrow. Let's go. Musk changed his Twitter bio to the chief of Twit yesterday on October 26th, followed by a personal visit to the Twitter headquarters on the same day. And I know that that video went pretty viral on Twitter. That raised anticipations that Musk would close the deal per the court deadline, paving the way for Dogecoin to become an integral part of the Twitter platform. As shared here, Dogecoin pumped 15% after this. And let me show you this video that did go viral on crypto Twitter. Here we go. You can see a video of Elon Musk, for some odd reason, carrying a sink into the Twitter headquarters. So everyone is like, why is he working carrying a sink? We got the richest man in the world about to pull out his lower back, right? So it's crazy to say the least. But now let's get back to our story of where we left off here. So yeah, Dogecoin pumped 15% after that video. And from a technical standpoint, Dogecoin's recovery shows signs of exhaustion as its price tests a strong resistance confluence on the 3-day chart, which you can see here. The confluence comprises of 3 resistance levels consisting of a multi-month descending trend line, a 53D exponential moving average, which is the red wave, and a horizontal level of around 8 cents as shown here in this chart. Now, given Doge's immediate correction after testing these resistance levels, the token's possibility of heading lower appears high. Meanwhile, its downside target is near the ascending trend line that has served as support in recent months. That puts Doge price en route to around 6 cents in Q4 of this year, approximately 20% below the current price. But conversely, a decisive breakout above the resistance confluence could have Doge eye the 200 3D EMA, which is the blue wave, near 11 cents. So let me know if you agree or disagree with this analysis that we can potentially see Dogecoin crash to that price point I just outlined for you here in this chart. And let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And how many of you are currently bullish on Dogecoin? Obviously, when you have the richest man in the world pumping it, anything is possible. I also like to point out Plan B, creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model. He shared this morning, more bottom signals, and he points out that greater than 60% of all the Bitcoin supply is in profit. So congratulations to all my Bitcoin hodlers. And quoting President Obama's deputy chief of staff, Jim Messina, with a very powerful quote here, I am incredibly bullish on this. I am buying Bitcoin right now. I'll bet you my Porsche Bitcoin gets back to $60,000. How many of you agree that it is inevitable and Bitcoin price does surge back to 60,000? And if you had a Porsche, would you bet it that the King Crypto would indeed perform? I know I would. I don't have my Porsche anymore. When I moved from Florida, from Clearwater here to Puerto Rico, I sold it because I didn't want to be stunting here on the island. But nonetheless, I am 100% convinced it is only a matter of time before the King Crypto returns to its all-time high of $69,000. I like to believe that will inevitably happen by 2024 and potentially by 2023, as many crypto analysts have been predicting the start and the parabolic rise to the next Bitcoin halving, which is the 4-year cyclical cycle, can begin as early as next year. We're only 2 more months away from 2023, so let's freaking go. With that being shared, now I want to discuss Vitalik Buterin's 2023 Ethereum goals, which he broke down. And this is very important as we recently had the Ethereum merge. Now, Ethereum developers hope to accomplish 4 key goals next year, according to the project's co-creator, Vitalik. Buterin says in a new interview that with Bankless, that solving scalability is his #1 priority. Quoting him here, the fees have been low for the past 6 months, so it's a bit easier to kind of backburner the problem. But I think if Ethereum succeeds, we are going to have another bull market, and we know what bull means for transaction fees from the point of view of a user. Bulls can even be something to dread because of how it makes transaction fees shoot up to $50 or $100 or whatever. That's right. I have seen Ethereum fees thousands of dollars, and it doesn't seem that they have ever been fixed thus far. Now, Buterin notes that Ethereum developers are on a ticking clock to solve the scalability issue. The ETH co-creator also notes that the project's developers plans to work on a privacy-based layer of censorship resistance and account abstractions. Ethereum account abstractions would aim to reduce the two different account types to a single contract account type, according to ETH Hub, explains the Ethereum resource website, quoting them here. The single account type will have the functionality to transact both coin and contract. Developer and user will no longer need to make a distinction between account type, since transacting will be moved fully into the EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine, and of the blockchain protocol. Now, at the time of this recording, as you can see here, we have the Ethereum price down 1% for the day, trading just above $1,550, and the all-time high Ethereum price is roughly $5,000. That's right, when Bitcoin hit that all-time high back in November of last year, which ironically is almost a year ago, Ethereum broke out and hit around 4,800, which is the current all-time high. When do you feel that Ethereum will likely surpass the recent previous all-time high of 4,800 and potentially hit $5,000 plus? Let me know in the comments below. Yesterday, I shared an extremely parabolic Bitcoin price prediction, as well as for Ethereum, and the Ethereum price prediction was a 28,000 Ethereum price, and if I'm not mistaken, it was like a $356 or $365,000 Bitcoin price for the King Crypto. But let me know if you are currently bullish or bearish for Ethereum heading into 2023, and do you think they'll likely solve their scalability issue with the gas fees? Also like to point out that Polygon/Matic has been pumping as of recent, almost hitting $1 for the first time, and many people are very bullish on Matic, specifically because it is an Ethereum scaling solution layer 2. So I just wanted to point that out. With that being shared, now let's discuss the latest of what's going on with XRP, as there is a new Ethereum sidechain which is being talked about for XRP, which is quite interesting. So here we go. Ripple's new push to develop a sidechain on the XRP ledger could be very bullish for XRP, according to popular crypto analysts. The San Francisco payments firm said in a blog post earlier in the month that blockchain development company Peerless Technology is currently testing the Ethereum virtual machine compatible sidechain for XRPL. That's right. In a new YouTube video, synonymous analyst known as Guy breaks down to his 2.16 million subs why that could be great news for the price of XRP, quoting him here. In case you haven't noticed, the EVM support has sent many Ethereum competitors to the moon in the past, including Harmony and Phantom. XRP having the EVM sidechain could therefore be very bullish for XRP. This ultimately depends on how fast XRP's EVM sidechain would be. And Guy notes, however, that the EVM is inherently limited to a few hundred transactions per second, though he doesn't think this will be a huge hurdle for Ripple, quoting him here. And this means that Ripple will have a lot of work to do to improve its TPS, transactions per second. This shouldn't be too difficult to do, given that Avalanche, Near Protocols, Aurora Layer, and Solana's upcoming Neon Layer all leverage the EVM and can process thousands of transactions per second. The one advantage XRP would have over most other EVM chains is its massive community of XRP holders. That said, XRP does have one big disadvantage, and that it is the only big crypto that has been signaled out by being a security by the SEC as part of its case against Ripple and Co. That's right. As we all know, the SEC launched their lawsuit against Ripple Labs back at the end of 2020. It was towards the end of the year. So it's been going on for almost 2 years, which has suppressed the XRP price, bringing it down to around 17 cents. And we are currently back around the 50-cent mark, I believe, at the time of this recording. We have XRP trading at just under 47 cents. So how many of you are bullish on this XRP sidechain and feel that this can potentially pump the XRP price? And keep in mind that the XRP all-time high was all the way back in 2017. And keeping in mind that it was like, I don't know, roughly $4. So XRP has been immensely suppressed due to this lawsuit. And so a lot of analysts are now very bullish that it looks like the SEC is going to lose this lawsuit and that XRP will not be deemed a security. And then we have the sidechain news, which can potentially pump the price as well. So how many of you feel that XRP can potentially reach back to its all-time high of above $3 in 2023? Let me know honestly in the comments right down below. With that being shared, now let's discuss this $4 trillion Bitcoin market, which we have to tap into, shall we? Because this is also a pretty big deal. A report published in Allied Market Research forecasts the value of the Bitcoin payment market to balloon to almost $4 trillion by 2031. The report predicts the Bitcoin payments market value which is currently 850 billion as of last year in 2021, will grow by a compound annual growth rate of 16.3% from 2022 to 2031, eventually reaching more than $3.78 trillion. Now, the researchers say that the increased need for operational efficiency and financial payment systems and rising demand for remittances will drive the value to the Bitcoin payment market. The report also predicts an increase in institutional demand, quoting the report here. Furthermore, increase in demand for Bitcoin among banks and financial institutions and untapped potential in emerging economies are expected to provide lucrative opportunities for the Bitcoin payments market expansion during the forecast period. Now, the Asia-Pacific region accounted for the largest Bitcoin payment market share and had the highest growth in 2021, according to the report. And the researchers also say that the rise in smartphones use across Latin America and Africa presents an opportunity for mobile payment service providers and the Bitcoin payment network. That's right. And the top-ranked crypto asset by market cap is still up over the past couple of days as we have been breaking out along with the rest of the crypto market and checking out the current Bitcoin market cap to see where we are currently at. The current Bitcoin market cap is sitting at just under 400 billion, 395 billion to be exact, with the Ether market cap at 189 billion, which leads us to our next story of the day, an extremely bullish prediction by the macro guru Raoul Pal, who says that crypto and Web3 is about to explode 300x in market value and shares his timeline. That's right, going back to the overall market cap. We can see that the entire crypto market cap is sitting just under that critical 1 trillion milestone. So the macro guru is predicting 300x from here. Send it. Let's go. The macro expert and former Goldman Sachs exec, Raoul Pal, is predicting an unprecedented pace of growth in the market cap for cryptos and Web3 projects. In a new Google Tech Talks interview, he says that the crypto market cap of about 1 trillion can explode to $300 trillion in just a decade. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the macro guru. Powell bases his forecast on the amount of activity he has already seen around crypto and Web3, and along with its growth potential, he says that venture capital investments is flooding into crypto and Web3 as it attracts some of the biggest players in tech and finance. And he adds that when the macroeconomic turmoil subsides, that the market cap will soar. Quoting the macro guru here, all the big Web2 players are involved. Everybody in the financial system is involved. Everybody. You just don't see it really because they are cautiously moving forward because of regulatory issues, but everybody knows that this is where it is all going. I have never seen anything like it personally. It's kind of a little bit like the internet, but it's just faster paced and actually larger in scope, which sounds crazy, but it is because it accrues value itself to these protocol layers. So there is this massive value accretion that comes if I compare where we are now, call it $1 trillion of asset valuation in digital assets. Well, almost all the traditional asset markets are $200 trillion to $300 trillion each. We're going to get there in probably 10 to 15 years. And Powell says that the accumulation of value in the crypto markets will be the fastest and largest that the world has ever seen. Quoting him here, bigger than oil, bigger than the internet. It is very, very different thing. It is quite the phenomenon. The point being, as soon as the macro clears up, everybody is going to launch. And don't forget, everybody's investing money of $60 billion that went in the last 18 months because of the speed of the crypto cycle. We are going to see a whole lot of products and new changes and new innovations coming in the next 6 to 12 months, and we'll move the whole narrative forward exponentially yet again. So there you have it. And to watch this video that Raoul Pal did, check the show notes below the video in the description and let me know if you agree or disagree with the macro guru Raoul Pal that the entire crypto market can likely 300x in market value from here. And now let's just run some math, shall we? And you can run the math along with me in the live chat. Now, hypothetically, let's say that the macro guru is correct. And 10 years from now, we're sitting on a $300 trillion market cap. Where do you feel the Bitcoin dominance of the market cap will be? Do you think it'll be sustained the same of where we're currently at around 40%? Do you think the Bitcoin dominance is inevitable? It must go up, potentially 50, 60%? Or do you feel that the Bitcoin dominance would likely decline and the altcoin market would be much, much bigger than Bitcoin of itself that we've seen previously in the past? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. And let's also make a prediction together. Hypothetically, once again, we're looking at a $300 trillion market cap. Let's just hypothetically say, for the sake of round numbers, that the Bitcoin market cap is sitting at that time at 150 billion, which would mean about a 50% market share. Where do you feel the Bitcoin price would likely be sitting at $150 trillion market cap. Considering, I think the highest the Bitcoin market cap has ever gone was probably between 1 and 1.5 trillion. Do you think that the Bitcoin price can realistically 100x from the current price? Let me know in the comments right down below. I think we'd hypothetically be talking about a $2 million plus Bitcoin price, and there are a lot of analysts out there as well who have predicted potentially a $500,000 to $1 million Bitcoin price, including the Winklevoss twins. They made the case for a $500,000 BTC, saying when the Bitcoin market cap of Bitcoin surpasses that of gold, we can expect a $500,000 Bitcoin. We also have analysts from ARK Invest, including Kathy Wood, their CEO, who has been predicting a $1 million Bitcoin price. We also have Tim Draper, who is predicting a $250,000 Bitcoin price for quite some time. We have Credible Crypto, who predicts a $150,000 Bitcoin price next year in 2023. We have the Stock to Flow model that Plan B commonly points out, who predicts that we reach a $100,000 Bitcoin price between 2024 and 2025, taking us to the next halving in 2028, where we could potentially see a $1 million Bitcoin price. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments right